Hey, alchemists. So today, up close and personal, I want to talk about what you are, or what we are, right? What we really, really are. I used to watch Wayne Dyer do these PBS specials, and one time he shared this story, and he was talking about what happens when you squeeze an orange, right? What comes out of the orange. And if you squeeze an orange, we know what comes out: the orange juice, pulp, and maybe the seeds. And that's what always will come out of the orange because that's what's inside the orange. We'll never get chocolate syrup coming out of that orange, right? Because what comes out when you squeeze an orange is what's inside of it. And so that's really a metaphor. He was talking about a metaphor for what comes out of us when we're being squeezed, okay? Or when the pressure's on. And when the pressure's on, what comes out of us is whatever is in our consciousness, right? That's what comes out of us. So not too long ago, I woke up one morning and I got really frustrated right off the bat, like first thing. And I just kept having these little things, just kept piling on. And then I eventually, of course, I ended up grumpy, aggravated, overwhelmed, resentful. Well, about that point, my sweet little Lilu, who she's napping right now, usually she's napping back here, but she's napping somewhere else right now. But my sweet little Lilu wanted to go outside and play. And we always go outside and play in the morning about the same time. And so I went outside with her with every intention to play. But I got out there, and just because of all the overwhelm, instead of playing with my dog, I went on my phone and I start scrolling. Well, Lilu got frustrated with me, so she starts jumping at me. She grabs the sleeve of my jacket. I get frustrated and I stomp my foot and I yell at her to stop it. And she just kind of runs away, right? She gets out of reach of my flailing arms, and she just sits and stares at me and gives me this look. And I felt pretty bad. I felt rather ashamed of myself. But I was under a lot of pressure and I was not managing my consciousness. And so when I got squeezed, what came out was what was inside me, okay? The resentment, the frustration, all of that. It does not have to be this way. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about what's going on in us that is changeable, and versus what we truly are, and that is unchangeable. So Michael J. Fox said, if you want to be an agent of change, it starts with you and what you're made of. And so agent of change, that could mean anything you want, really. Somebody might want to show up as a warrior for the little guy, and or maybe to somebody else, being an agent of change means creating a really peaceful and fulfilling life. So like whatever that is for you, whatever that is for me, it starts with us, right? It starts with us. No one is going to do it for us. And so we have to know what we're made of, because we're either going to serve as a bright example or a horrible warning, right? So we want to know what we're made of. Now, what's going on in us versus what we are, right? What's going on in us, that's changeable, because what's going on in us, in our consciousness, is about our beliefs and our perceptions and our opinions, and all of those are changeable, right? How you eat, vote, pray, or parent, that's all changeable. Given the right circumstances, people change religions. Given the right circumstances, people change their political affiliations, right? All of that stuff is changeable. And so something that is changeable within us, we might say about that, well, this is what works for me, right? And it may not work for you, right? What works for me is no carbs, but maybe you're fine eating carbs, okay? So that kind of stuff is changeable. Now, we also have within us unconscious programming. And this could be old stuff from childhood, right? Like money is the root of all evil. That was something from my childhood. Money is the root of all evil. Also, unconscious programming can look like, well, I'm just not lucky, and you have to be lucky to get anywhere in this world, and or life's not fair. Okay, so those things are also changeable. I mean, we might need a guide, and good guidance to get us through that, but we can change those faulty beliefs, right? And if this stuff is changeable, it means it's not who we really are. Okay, what we truly are is unchangeable. So Ernest Holmes said this about what we are. Each person is an individualized center of God consciousness, a self-knowing center of life and action. So we are each a physical expression of the divine. We're an expression of walking around on this planet of source. Okay, so we're an individuated expression of source. We create as our creator, and this is always true. It's always true that we are an emanation of source. It's always true. Whether we like it or not, or believe it or not, or even know about it or not, it is always true. It is completely unchangeable. We can't say about this, well, you're created in the image and likeness of your creator. I mean, if that works for you. Okay, now our beliefs about that, we can have different beliefs about it, but it doesn't change the truth with a capital T. We are always an emanation of the God source. Okay, so this is why we have our unity principles, and the first principle is God is all things. Second principle, and that means me. Right? God is all things, and that means me. These are principles. They're not suggestions. Okay, they are principles or law. So Ernest Holmes goes on to say, all the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Right? Act as though it were true. This is how we develop a habit around this idea that God is all things, and that means me. Right? God is all things, and that means you. We just feel it, know it, and act as though it were true. Even if it feels uncomfortable or weird, right? We can do this. So think about this. Each of us are already acting as though certain things are true. And maybe they're not, right? We might be acting as if, well, life is just really hard, and, or you need to be lucky, or life is unfair. There's just no justice in this world. Or, sometimes we just have to settle or tolerate these bad situations and just give up on our dreams. We might be acting as though that's true, right? Now, when we act as if something is true, our brains believe it, right? If you keep telling yourself life's unfair, your brain, being the wonderful assistant that it is, shows up for you, and it keeps pointing out why this is true, right? It'll get you to focus on things that are truly unfair. So our brain will prove us right, even if it's not true, okay? And so this is where our imagination is so powerful. Our brain believes what we hold in our imagination, whether it's true or not. Okay, so there's this exercise, and I learned this I think I was 25 the first time I was walked through it. But just close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are holding in your hand a lemon. And just keep your eyes closed and just focus on this lemon. And give the lemon a little squeeze, okay? And you can kind of feel the oiliness of the skin come through, right? You feel it. You can smell it already. And you set the lemon down on your imaginary table. You take your imaginary knife and you cut the lemon in half. And because you've squeezed it, it's really juicy. And some of the juice just kind of splashes out, kind of gets on you. You can smell the citrusy, elevating smell of the lemon. Now you take half of this lemon now. Sink your teeth into it. Okay, just sink your teeth into this lemon. Now, if you like really visualize this exercise, you probably started salivating because your brain does not know if it's not true or not. Your brain just takes in everything as though it were true. Okay, so our brain is believing the stuff that we keep telling it, right? So act as if it were true. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Now, we can theorize about what we are, and we can theorize about where we come from and what it is that is working through us. But until we feel it and know it and act as though it were true, we're just going to keep showing up to our life every day like we're showing up right now. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, heaven is within us and we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. So heaven is a state of consciousness when our thinking is aligned with divine mind, right? That's heaven, that state of consciousness. But also, heaven is within us, right? A potential state of consciousness, and we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. This means that it is already within our power to do this. It is already, right this moment, within our power to align our thinking with the divine so that we feel that truth that God is all things, and that means you and that means me. It is within our power to do so. Okay? We are in harmony with the divine to the degree that we are paying attention to our thoughts. Now, one of the best ways I know of to really pay attention to our thoughts, and if our thoughts are in alignment with divine mind or not, is to look at our choices. Every day we're making thousands of choices, and our choices are either serving our personality or they're serving our soul. Now, when we make a choice that serves our personality, we're always going to choose what feels safe. We're going to choose to do things where we know we can succeed because it's that easy. We've done it a million times, right? We're going to choose like the enemy that we know, like in our relationships, even if it ends up where we feel like a doormat all the time, right? We're still going to choose to serve the personality, which is to choose the enemy that we know. We're also going to choose instant gratification. So we'll choose the online shopping, or we'll choose to eat the cupcake or drink the alcohol or take the drugs, because we're looking for instant gratifications. Now, when the pressure is on and we get squeezed, what happens is we're going to react to life. Okay? And then when we make choices that serve the personality, it ends up that later on, we wish we would have chosen differently. We would say, wow, I wish I wouldn't have eaten that cupcake. I wish I would have just given that homeless guy the $20 instead of, fretting about that $20. I wish that I wouldn't have done the online shopping, right? So we're going to regret later on, we're going to regret those decisions. Now, when we are making a choice that serves our soul, it's going to feel scary right up front. It's going to be uncomfortable, right? We'll meet that homeless guy and feel like called to give this homeless person the last $20 in our wallet. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable. And right, so that's how we know we're serving the soul, is the initial feeling is going to be discomfort, but we're going to feel guided. And so we'll do those uncomfortable things when we choose to serve the soul. And later we're going to be happy that we made that choice, right? Later, we'll be happy that we faced up to our feelings rather than doing the online shopping, right? Or eating the cupcake. right? Later we'll feel relieved that we listened and acted, and maybe bought somebody a tank of gas. When the pressure's on, if we are making choices that habitually serve our personality, we won't have access to our inner resourcefulness, and we will tend to blame conditions in our life, right? We're going to find people or things to blame as the reason that we're not happy. When the pressure's on, if we habitually make choices that serve the soul, it'll be uncomfortable, but we'll be able to assess the situation and then go within. And our first question will be to the infinite within us, right? What do I do next? How can I show up in this situation, right? Now, for me, how this usually looks. If I'm faced with a situation that I don't like and I wish it would change so that I could be happy, I don't want to be serving my personality. I want to serve my soul. So in this situation where I'm not happy and I'm upset, maybe something's going on, I start off, and I usually start off by saying, and I don't know why I do this, but I'll say, okay. And then I'll go into the principles. God is all things, and that means me, right? God is all things, and that means the ideas that come to me, right? And God is all things, and that means that everything around me is a potential channel for a solution to come through. God is all things, and so everything around me is a potential channel for guidance on what to do next. All right, and so this is what happens when we make choices that serve the soul, right? We learn how to deal with the discomfort of stepping out of our comfort zone. And we also get better at asking for guidance on the next thing to do. So, are we thinking and acting in a way that honors the divine within us, right? Do we listen and act when God speaks? Do we seek first the wonders that are God, and see everything around us as an expression of God, knowing then that everything around us is a potential channel for God to speak through, right? So that's how we know we're making choices that serve the soul. Now, you were made to shine. You were made to shine. And we were all of us were made to shine. We were made to radiate the qualities of God, the qualities of love and compassion and kindness, to be a love generator, to be a love amplifier and a grace generator. And when we are doing this, we feel it. We will feel that our thoughts are in harmony with divine mind. We will feel that. But we will also feel it when we're not in harmony, right? We will feel that out of sync feeling, and like we don't know what to do feeling. We're gonna feel like the world is against us kind of feeling. And then when the pressure's on, what's coming out of us is affecting us, and it's affecting those around us, right? When the pressure's on and we are out of sync with the divine within us, it is those who we love that are going to feel our reactions, right? It's our little fur babies, right? So we don't want that for the people that we love, or the fur babies that we love, right? We want to show up as the love amplifier and the grace generator, right? We want to show up in a way where we are shining our light. So here's our affirmation for this week. I am a physical expression of the divine. I am a physical expression of the divine. I am a physical expression of the divine. Okay, I am. And just take this into your consciousness too, okay? Just I am, in your imagination with me. I am the heart and the hands of God in this world. I am. I am the love and grace of God in this world. I am. Now, this is the part of you that never changes. It is unchangeable, right? It is unchangeable. And I'm going to say, if it feels weird to say this, if it feels weird to say, I am a physical expression of the divine, if it feels weird, just keep practicing it, right? Just keep feeling it, knowing it, and acting as though it were true, right? You can do this, right? All of this life was created for the wonder and the experience of discovering what and who you truly are. That's what life was created for you to discover that you are an individuated expression of divine source energy. You are a soul using this beautiful physical body of yours right now as a way to walk around on this planet and be the heart and the hands of God in this world. All of life was created to show you this. And so I have an invitation for you. And I like when we do this together. So if you do this, I would love to have you comment, and let me know that you did. But over this next week, just ask yourself this question. Who am I serving? Am I serving my personality and seeking instant gratification and safety? Or am I serving my soul? And it feels a little scary, but my soul wants expansion. And that's what we're doing, right? That's what we're doing here in this life, right? Who am I serving, right? We can't serve both the personality and our soul at the exact same time. Okay, so who am I serving? And it's, you've heard the phrase, you can't serve two masters, right? Well, I like the metaphor of a light switch. Like right now, you're probably sitting somewhere and there's a light switch. And if you turn on the light, there's electricity and it's always there waiting for you to turn on the light. And when you turn on that switch, the light comes on. When you turn off the switch, the light goes out. But that switch cannot be both on and off at the same time. Okay? But see, even if it's off, the electricity is waiting for you to just flip that switch back on. So even when we end up making choices that serve our personality and we're in the comfort zone and we're wanting instant gratification and we're wanting guarantees, Source is still there, working through us, for us, as us, just waiting for us to have that awareness to just flip that switch back on, right? And we'll always know if our switch is off because we'll get stuck in conditions. When we flip on our switch, our thoughts will be in harmony with divine mind. So remember this, you were made to light up this world. You were made to shine. And this is how we are creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to be doing all of this stuff. You are a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event, and within you is a light, a constant star that will not fail you. And everything you do, you are blessed, and so it is. We'll see you next time.